One of the major headlines today, Rishi Sunak's threat to pull UK out of the Echr. Now, viewers of my channel will know this is something I've been talking about for a very long time indeed. Recent polling showing actually more Brits now in favour of leaving Echr than remaining, and certainly it's overwhelming when it comes to Conservative voters strongly in favour of leaving. You've had this ridiculous situation as well that I know many of you have picked up on in the comments as well, about the fact we've got Home Secretary in Suella Braverman, of course, who's openly advocated leaving Echr, and yet that isn't the government's position. Of course, when it comes to this Sunak threat, and I'm going to get to more of that in a minute, it's a matter of, do those of you who watch my channel actually believe that Rishi Sunak would go ahead and leave the Echr or not? What we do know at the start of 2023 is that when it comes to those crossing on boats from France, the situation is basically the same as we saw last year. There's been much talk, much hype, much speculation about a new bill to be brought forward by Rishi Sunak and Suella Braverman. But whether that will go far enough to stop the boats or not, of course, remains to be seen. As far as I'm concerned, we've had a whole load of talk and very little action. So that brings us to this Sunday Times article that the Prime Minister apparently now would be prepared to take Britain out of the Echr. I mean, frankly, what on earth is he waiting for? But this apparent threat, coming as official estimates suggest there'll be almost a 50% increase in illegal migration on last year, when of course we saw record numbers cross over 40,000 people. The government's position seems to be, if their bill that comes forward is deemed unlawful by the Echr, by the European Court, then the PM would be open to withdrawing from Echr. Again, this is a matter of, do you seriously believe this PM, this Conservative government, would go ahead and take that action or not? Do let me know in the comments below. A source there quoted as saying, the PM has been clear he wants to introduce legislation that meets our international obligations. This bill will go as far as possible within international law, that they apparently are pushing the boundaries of what is legally possible while staying within Echr, but saying if this legislation gets onto the statute book and is found to be lawful by our domestic courts, but is still being held up in Strasbourg, then we know the problem is not our legislation or our courts. If that's the case, then of course he will be willing to reconsider whether being part of the Echr is in the UK's long-term interests, and that he would deploy that apparent nuclear option before the general election if the European Court strikes down the government's plans. I have to say, I think there'll be a huge dose of scepticism. This is just more tough talk about what maybe, perhaps, could happen in the future. What on earth are the government waiting for? Their own Home Secretary, for goodness sake, has been saying for a while now that this is the course of action that needs to be taken. The ridiculous situation of the Rwanda policy announced back in April. Still, absolutely no sign of that being implemented after the Echr's intervention. But let me know in the comments below, do you take that stance, that apparent threat from the Sunak government that they could lead the UK out of Echr? Do you take that seriously or not? Let me know in the comments below, guys. I will keep bringing you the very latest on this and more, so please do whack this video a quick thumbs up, and of course, as ever, cheers for watching.